You're listening to the Blue Raider Podcast, presented by Gold's Gym of Tennessee. Your all-access pass to everything Middle Tennessee sports, game recaps, player spotlights, and the latest from the heart of Blue Raider Nation. Now, here's your host, Jay Golden.
My accuracy was pretty bad tonight. I didn't give my guys the best chance that I could have. And I think that just we started that way. You know, we had one good drive at the end of the first half. We put together another touchdown drive, but other than that, there was just no consistency. There was nothing. There was no energy. And I mean, credit Austin Peay. They came out, they played their game, they kicked our butt. We didn't have any answers for it, and that's on myself. That's on the offense. We didn't score enough points to win.
Nick, I know obviously that the easy answer is get back to work, but how mentally do you regroup and come back from something like this?
I mean, a lot of honesty with yourself. I think the easy answer is get back to work, but we had, like I said before, we had no consistency in the run or the pass game. And I think if you just look at it, you got to be honest with your performance, with your personal performance, each and every one of us. I can only speak for myself up here. I thought that it definitely wasn't good enough for us to win tonight in my play. And, I can only do my job, and I got to give my best to my guys, and I did tonight, and they were fighting hard. Credit to Najee. Najee had a phenomenal game. That kid is a fighter. All of our guys are fighters. Running backs are fighters. O-lines are fighters. Tight ends, I thought, played hard. Those guys are fighters, but we just didn't click, and there was no consistency. And I think just being honest with ourselves is going to be what's going to have to happen.
Speaking of Najee, what's it been like having him on the team and just the energy he brings?
Najee's been amazing from the moment he got here. He brings a positive energy no matter what the situation was. And I'm just really glad that he got to go out and have the game he did tonight. He's a heck of a football player, a heck of a wide receiver, great kid. Been really, really, really fun getting to know him. And, no matter at what point of the game tonight, he was hyping up his guys, which I really appreciate. And I respect the mess out of that for him. Because there wasn't a lot of bright spots tonight from anyone, including myself, but Najee did a really good job.
Looking to next week with Wisconsin, how do you think you all, he said regroup, but for you all as a leader, how do you think he's going to pivot from this to really make sure that you make an impact next week in Madison?
Yeah, it just goes back to being honest. Like, you can't look at it and be like, oh, like this happened and Austin Peay got lucky here. Like, they didn't get lucky at all. It straight up, they lined up against us and they played better than us from the beginning of the game to the end of the game. So, you're going to have some harsh conversations tomorrow morning. You're going to have to be honest with yourself, like I said, and as an offense, we're going to figure it out. And I know that I'm going to do the best I can. First of all, I'll be honest with myself, and then as an offense, we're going to be honest with each other about what we need to do. And at this point, it's not even about Wisconsin. It's about, what the heck are we going to do to put on a better show? It could be anyone. Austin Peay just came in here and kicked our butt, so it's not really about who we're playing.
Anything else for Nick? Thank you, Nick.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Nick.
You're good. All right, guys, up next is defensive tackle DeMonte Smith.
The defensive line was getting good pressure on Parson, but he was hard to wrangle. Talk about how frustrating that was for y'all.
It was frustrating because he a running quarterback, so he just got to finish our rushes, be better with that, and try to get him on the ground. Yeah, he was running. I can't lie to you. He a good running quarterback, so we just got to finish our rushes and try to get him on the ground, tackle better.
You all did a phenomenal job again stopping the run, making sure, especially when the pocket was collapsing for you guys. But how do you think you're going to continue to build off of this heading into next week?
We did a pretty good job, but I feel like we got to be better. So with that, we just got to just keep chopping wood, come practice every day, and work harder every day, and just continue to perfect our craft.
What are some of those areas you say get better at? What do you think needs to be improved on?
Like shedding blocks, tackling, finishing, rushes, things like that.
DeMonte, for you, 2.5 TFLs and then a sack. Just talk about how you were able to, kind of dominate their interior offensive line tonight.
I kind of got some strength on me, so I just try to use it to the best of my ability, and just try to get off the bar every day and listen to my coaches and take coaching and just do what you want me to do.
Yeah, the defense kind of struggled early. You guys got down pretty big, but then you all seemed to settle in there in the second half. What kind of changed for you guys there in the second half?
We started slow, so we came together as a defense at halftime and figured out we really had a good chance to come back and win the ball game. So we just tried to come together as a defense and just play hard together as a team.
Being a veteran on this team, when Alex Mitchell went down, what were you looking to take over in the leadership role tonight?
I was just telling everybody that got hurt and everybody that went down. I tried to tell them that I got them and I'm gonna keep playing hard for y'all, and that we just gonna keep chopping wood. We just gonna keep going, playing every play one play at a time.
Anything else for DeMonte? You good? DeMonte, thank you. All right, guys, next is wide receiver Najee Cox.
You go ahead.
Tonight on that catch at the goal line that got reviewed that ended up being a touchdown, coming from your track background, what do you feel like you stepped up in this offseason, adding maybe that jump ball ability to your game?
I've always had that jump ball ability. I've been having it in my bag forever. When I got here, I was able to make it better and try to work on getting back into a defensive back and just trying to be strong and physical. So I feel like I've always had it in my bag. It just coming here made me work on it better.
Playing with Nick Vattiato in a game for the first time, what can you speak on about him and this offense?
So since I got here, he's believed in me. He believed in me every day. He just told me to keep working. Even when I didn't have things going on, I had things a lot of things going on mentally, but he kept me in the game. So I feel like him just being a veteran and going out there and leading us every day and just working that's all to speak for itself.
2 touchdowns in your first appearance in FBS for you. How are you feeling right now? I know as a whole for your team, but for you independently, how are you going to continue to build off this?
I'm just keep staying consistent, practicing hard, and doing what I do best. Me and me. I feel like everybody wanted me to be somebody else, but I just got to be me.
Najee, you talked about those mental struggles earlier. How are you guys prepared to hit the reset button before Wisconsin next week?
I think we was prepared this week. I feel like we had a good practice. I feel like we just didn't come out and execute. I feel like we just got a whole new team. I feel like everybody got used to playing with this unit. So I feel like we just got to keep building on this. And then next week, I feel like we can go out there and get the win. We just got to put it all together.
Anything else for Najee?
Appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Hats off to Austin Peay. Their group played hard. They played a 4-quarter ball game. They were able to sustain some drives, change momentum. And for us tonight, man, it was a struggle. Really don't know why that is. So we gotta go back. We gotta step into the lab and we gotta get that fixed. But here's what I'll say: first games provide, sometimes a lot of things that you look at and you scratch your head. So for us, it's a scratch your head night. I never would have thought that it would have been that type of night for us with our quarterback. I never would have thought it would have been that type of night where we couldn't, connect with these guys. Whether we were talking about drop balls, whether we were talking about missed throws and opportunities, a third down. I just thought it just seemed to be like we could not connect the dots. Defensively, just too many points. In the first half, bled way too much, and then just not playing smart. Second half, maybe that penalty when we're off the field on third down hurts. Okay, and they were punting the ball. You're coming out of halftime, and you're talking about changing momentum, and you're just looking for something good to happen, to us. But as I was watching the game and I looked at it and I said to myself, there's no calls, there's no 7-point or 21-point plays that could have got us out of that, man. We had to climb ourselves out of it. Okay, this group, man, this got grow up real fast. We got to be resilient, and we got to understand that when you talk about the game of football, man, you got to create your own momentum. And tonight, I thought the energy came in the second half early, but overall, man, it's just not what we expected from the Blue Raiders. So we got to get it fixed.
Oh yeah, Coach, you mentioned the energy coming in the second half. How do you keep that energy going for the entire game?
Yeah, I think for us, we've got to, whether it's sideline, whether it's in our guys, with those first drives and having opportunities to get off the field or score points, man, you got to do it. You got to do it. I mean, we had the same opportunities Austin Peay had, right? And just didn't capitalize. And so, energy begets energy. You got to create your own energy. It wasn't anything about pregame or being in the locker room or anything like that. Those guys were ready to go. Okay, but you come out and again, you just have some things happen early that just say, okay, well, let these dudes get their cleats in the ground. Let's see how these guys are going to play, and then let's go get it. And you know what? It just looked like we were just slow boxing. Okay, they were throwing fast punches, and we were just playing defensively all night. So it just wasn't what I expected to see. None of us expected to see. But sometimes that's how it's wrapped up. You got to take it and run with it.
Went 0 for 12 on third down conversions tonight, 1 for 4 on fourth down. How do you keep the drive moving as you get into the next part of your schedule?
Man, complete balls. I mean, you got to complete throws to stay on the field. I mean, that's the biggest part of what you see. I thought Nick had good protection early, for the most part. I thought he had good protection. We subbed some late in that ball game, and so it sort of got sideways. Man, they did a good job, in rushing. But I saw opportunity, through those first 3 quarters for us to play better football and stay on the field than we didn't. Missed way too many opportunities for ourselves, and got to get off the field defensively.
Coach, how do you regroup the guys mentally? I know physically you just go back and work. You try to get things straight.
Yeah.
Mentally, how do you get these guys regrouped? And going into the Wisconsin game, is that an easy way to kind of forget what happened this week if you go out and play well?
It is an easy way, right? It's one game. You look at the game. It's the first game of the season. You want it to be better, but here's what we all know, right? Most improvement in college football comes between game 1 and game 2, and so they'll look at this tape and they'll see the mistakes. They'll see balls drop. They'll see, at times, just soft and off coverage that never should have been, some missed opportunities, in terms of squeezing the quarterback and getting us off the field on third down. Just a lot of loose change, okay? And that's just what I saw. Whether you talk about drops, whether you talk about letting a running quarterback, out and bleed you on some situations, or whether you talk about, us just not being opportunistic when our time was there. Look, just a lot of loose change. So move on, and we'll line up. I know tonight, and as soon as I get out of here, I'll go home, I'll take a shower, and I'll start watching Wisconsin.
Coach, what were some question marks going into the game that were kind of answered for y'all tonight?
I look at penalties. We were a heavy penalized team tonight, but the reality is the penalties that we have are costly, right? Just one in particular. So I thought at times, it looked like we can run the football at times, but there was times where, we looked like, again, man, that we weren't moving the line of scrimmage. So, but it's hard sometimes when you get behind the chains and you're playing from 2nd and 10 or 2nd and 15. I thought, for us tonight, overall, nothing really stuck out as being, fantastic or great. Special teams was solid. The return, we gotta get down there and get a guy down. If it wasn't for that return, I would have said special teams played really, really well tonight because we flipped the field a lot.
KJ Minifield was seen with the sling on the sideline.
Mm-hmm.
Any update on the injury?
No, he'll probably see our docs first thing in the morning, and then I'll have a better idea on a Sunday. It didn't look good initially, but once I had a chance to see KJ and talk to KJ, he seems fine. So what we got to do is just let our docs and our people figure out where we go, and then we'll update you when we can.
Are there any other injuries that kind of stuck out that you are concerned about after this game? I know a couple other guys went down, but not as severely as Mayfield.
No, I think we just got bumped and bruised. I saw Trey, and I saw Alex Mitchell, sort of rolled up a little bit. So we'll see. Again, I don't think any of those are significant. But again, I'm not a doctor, and I'll wait over the next 24 hours to see what the report says for us.
The two scoring drives were 5 and 6 plays respectively. What are you seeing in those drives where you have that big play potential?
What do I see? I believe that we have the potential to score points. Tonight was not that night, and so like for me, I'm looking at it, and I got to see the film. I got to see the film. I got to see, the mix of run the pass, opportunities, the one-on-ones. Did we win them? Okay, why didn't we win? Okay, all this sort of figures into the simple fact that, I believe we can score points, but we got to do a better job of being able to maintain drives and then be big strike explosive, when we have an opportunity. Because tonight we didn't get a chance to take, a lot of shots down the field, and when we did, we weren't even close.
And in the halftime of the game, what's that conversation look like in the locker room getting down to the score?
Having to talk with this group, we said before the season started, there's going to be a number of ways that you're going to have to play ball games. You're going to have to come from behind. You're going to have to, play from out in front. And this was a situation in game one where you had to come from behind, right? So I don't think there was any panic, like in the group. I thought the group really believed, like for us, we just didn't have a good first half. And so we had a second half of football. We had 30 minutes of football to come out and play. And again, came out, didn't get it done. So like no excuses, no explanations. We got to go to work.
Shakai Woods and Anthony Bynum seemed like they had strong games today.
Mhm.
What have you seen in their jump from year 2 to year 3 inside the program?
Yeah, those guys are going to be difference makers for us. We just have to continue to make sure, man, that we don't shoot ourselves in the foot, extend drives, man, or have these guys play to where, like drives get extended on them. I mean, these guys are productive, and they play hard, and they're going to continue to play well. We just need to play well around them. Okay, so we need everybody else to step up around them. So that's what I see there.
Anything else, Coach? Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Coach.
All right. Welcome back to the post-game reaction. I'm joined by Shane Pickering, who joined us this week for our Week 1 reaction here at the Blue Raider podcast. Shane, not really much to go off of initially. We had a lot of higher ambitions for this upcoming Week 1 matchup against Austin Peay, but it's pretty much safe to say that they laid a goose egg this week.
Yeah, absolutely brutal loss. This is a game you absolutely need to win, and they just did not execute in any part. They executed for a little bit at the start of the second half, but it just was not enough for this game.
And Derek Mason from the post game there, I mean, just nothing seemed to click. At no moment did they ever seem to have any consistency, whether it was offense or defense. And, even the scoring drives were 5-6 plays, and they just kind of came in chunks. And even then, it just felt like you were swinging and missing. It's kind of the best way to put it, really. And even Nick took some accountability, saying that wasn't the best game. When you look back at Football Reference, that was the worst completion percentage game of Nick Vadiato's career. So again, I don't know that he could necessarily attribute it to one particular thing. It just, the whole team just didn't seem in sorts today.
Nick just seemed rushed from the minute he stepped on the field to the minute he stepped off the field tonight. It was just, there was no chemistry, it felt like, with him and the receivers. Najee Cox got a little bit going there, scoring twice. Keep them inside, couple scores, but then Austin Peay pulled away again, and the ball game was over.
Well, we're going to get into our keys of the week that we did. When life happens, you want someone in your corner who actually knows your name, and that's where Trevor Haggard State Farm comes in. Whether it's protecting your car, your home, your family's future, Trevor and his team are right here in Murfreesboro ready to help. So don't just settle for some 1-800 number. Call a neighbor who cares. Call Trevor Haggard State Farm today, and let us help you protect what matters most. So again, thanks to Trevor Haggard, the State Farm, for sponsoring this portion where we're bringing up our keys to the game. Shane, your keys to the game for us was play clean, look better.
Sure.
What do you think?
Well, I will say they played clean in the sense of penalties, no penalties, at least limiting those penalties. Turnovers, I don't think they had a turnover.
Mm-mm.
So they did play much cleaner, but the look better, no. It just simply no.
Not necessarily an objective there, but just didn't look right.
It didn't look better. They didn't function better as a team. That was really what I was trying to hammer home with that point, was the chemistry needs to be better. Just the talent level. This is a team that should be making a bowl game this year. You can't start off this season losing to Austin Peay by, 30 points. That's unexcusable in year 2 of the Derek Mason era.
Yeah, mine were establish the run, which of course gets, thwarted there at the end with all those late game sacks with Gagliano. I think prior to that, they were only at around 70, and you had a few big rushes from Jaquil throughout there. Ricky Hunt looked good in moments. I don't think, and go back to my X factor of the week, was the offensive line. All offseason we talked about, is the offensive line going to be better? And I think collectively, again, the starting 5 looked better. You can tell a significant fall off at right tackle when Clayton steps away and Habanowski stepped in there, missed a few blocks. Nick gets sacked there a couple of times with Habanowski. And then, of course, the end of the game, it's an entire second string unit that goes out there, and Roman's kind of running for his life. But I think that starting 5 looks strong. Even if E.J. Harris, who we didn't see very much of tonight, Mateo looked fine at right guard. So I think the offensive line looked good. I think the run just couldn't get established like I had said the key to the game would be. And then, of course, offensive consistency. Too many 3-and-outs. We had 2 turnover and downs. It just wasn't a great setup as far as gaining some offensive consistency and feeling like you have the ability to get your feet underneath you. But anyways, we move forward. Next week, Madison, Wisconsin. The competition doesn't get any easier, which is something that we talked about all offseason again, was how easy this non-con schedule is. And you just lost to arguably the easiest of those 4. So, where do you go from here?
Well, Derek Mason said playing a team like Wisconsin with that much talent next week makes it easier to move on, because you have to move on and prepare for that team. You just have to keep moving on and keep attacking that every day. I know DeMonte Smith said they just got to keep chopping wood. They just got to keep moving forward. And there's a long season ahead. This season's not over. It's 1 game out of 12. And they just got to move on. They cannot hang on to this and hold over to Nevada and Marshall especially.
There's still opportunities to win. Conference USA, I still think, is a shoot at some point. Like, teams have still got to create some consistency. And again, maybe you're losing the first game may have been the loss that they needed. Who knows? And maybe we have a more competitive game in Madison. But look forward to that. Again, we're going to have our week 2 preview with about the Wisconsin game coming up this Tuesday. So make sure you don't miss that. Thanks again to Shane for the preview this week. As of course, our post-game reaction. Thanks to you, the listener, for watching today. If you're not already, follow us on all of our social media where this is streaming, of course, on X.